His isn't a poetic line, it's a blueprint. The man who understands it stops chasing what sparkles and begins regulating what resonates. He doesn't plead for attention. He quietly arranges the terrain where a woman's imagination turns inward and works on its own. Attraction is not applause. It is a calibrated disturbance, and the one who calibrates disturbance determines the result. The modern fantasy is naive. Men assume female desire is born from words, compliments, constant attention, as if romance were an app that rewards instantly. The more they speak, the less they transmit. The more they justify, the less they're valued. Desire doesn't arise from excess. It arises from scarcity and uncertainty. What's rare unsettles. What's predictable anesthetizes. What isn't immediately available awakens the body, and once the body wakes, the mind sprints to invent reasons why. Imagination accomplishes what language never can. There's a discomfort men rarely admit. They search for emotional safety. They want peace before engagement, but biologically, a woman doesn't respond to peace. She responds to the tension between control and risk. It's the friction between what might be and what isn't yet that ignites interest. Offer too much comfort and you administer anesthesia. Offer a refined edge of risk, not chaos, not recklessness, but enigma. And you offer vitality. Comfort dulls. Tension clarifies. When tension is measured, it doesn't harm, it shapes. Machiavelli didn't write about seduction, but he wrote about human nature, and human nature doesn't change with trends. Men are motivated more by the promise of gain than by possession. The same rule governs desire. Desire lives in the almost, not in the having. The almost is investment. The almost is narrative. The almost is where the mind constructs scenes, meanings, projections, and multiplies sensation. Give everything, and you extinguish hope. Suggest and sustain, and you nourish anticipation. The anxious man gives. The strategic man measures, and the one who measures creates value. Jung described the shadow as what consciousness denies, but the body recognizes. In the feminine unconscious, the archetype of the man who provokes yet doesn't yield awakens the urge to be challenged, tested, deciphered. He isn't the caricature of a playboy. He's the enigmatic presence that refuses to dilute himself to be accepted. He appears whole precisely because he doesn't dissolve. He pulls her psyche out of comfort and into play. Shadow moves when it meets resistance. Desire grows when it encounters form. Liquid seeks a vessel. Energy seeks contour. Without contour, it spills and disappears. The common man tries to persuade. The anxious man tries to explain. The man who understands doesn't explain. He regulates. He establishes a rhythm that alternates intensity and pause, contact and silence, signal and withheld signal. He lets her mind do the labor. He allows uncertainty to generate investment. He permits absence to be interpreted as meaning. He knows desire isn't a button, it's a field. And within that field, the rule is simple. Whoever sets the tension sets the hierarchy. And whoever sets the hierarchy earns respect before pleasure. That's why the language of power isn't insistence, it's containment. The man who masters emotional tension awakens desire without touch because he first touches what governs everything. The psychological. When the symbol shifts, the body follows. When rhythm changes, response changes. When need quiets, presence dominates. And when presence dominates, everything else, glances, gestures, surrender, becomes a consequence. The game starts before words. It begins when you stop seeking safety and start emitting calibrated tension. It begins when you understand that desire is power, and power begins with self-control. The invisible mistake is this. Men try to create connection when they should create tension. The modern man approaches seeking warmth to be liked, accepted, safe. But safety erases polarity, and polarity is the root of desire. Connection is the final phase, not the opening move. Create it too early, and you dissolve the mystery that would have formed it naturally. A man errs when he believes a woman falls for emotional comfort. She falls for the dissonance between curiosity and control. The feminine, unconscious, doesn't respond to security. It responds to gravity. She doesn't want a man who gives her everything. She wants one who makes her feel, and feeling isn't built through explanation. It's built through energy exchange. While the average man narrates his life, the strategic man establishes presence. He doesn't rush to fill silence. He stretches it until she speaks first. He lets the void work, and the one who invests first is already yielding ground.